Okay, good afternoon and welcome to my lecture about the Barber pole phasor. Well, the title is a little bit ubiquitous. Sorry, it's moving already. And the subtitle may share some more light about what I'm going to talk about. Well, I'm going to give you a report about some experiences that I have been doing with the Barber pole phasor in the last months. And well, we have been also working with some students, and you can listen to the results this evening in a piece called Parallel Realities. And what I was interested in, it was in this liminal space of perception. So let's say the space where you understand a tone or a rhythm, a noise or a tone, a pulsation or a tone. This was my research area. And well, I would like to start speaking a little bit about this peculiar object, which you will find in the 30s in barber shops in the US and Great Britain. And maybe because of a kind of disturbing, it had some disturbing aspect, because it seems like it was used to distract the patients that were attending some dental services in the barber shops. And the barber pole, this object, should kind of distract the persons from the medical treatments, let's call it like this. Well, you see that when this object is rotating, the blue and the red lines will go up, and it will cause a kind of a visual illusion that never stops going in the same direction. And this was something that was quite present in the academic discussion of this time. And there are all other visual illusions, like the cube or the old and young person that changes according to our view. And well, the Barber pole phasor, yeah, and Harald Bode, he was very interested in this kind of illusion and wanted to reproduce the auditory parallel to the visual. And we remember that at this time, at the academic discussions, was very present the idea of the MIT, for example, with Risset and Shepard. And Risset made this beautiful part of his piece using these ideas of the illusion of a continuous glissando going always up in the 1969, if I remember correctly. So the things that I'm going to show you or to report here, as I said, they are focused on this liminal space between different categories of sound, and between rhythm and tone. And I have used some vocal sounds, vocal synthesis, like the Forman synthesis, where you go from one vocal note to a rhythm. And I used also some nonlinear sound synthesis modules, like I will give you some insights after, like the wave multipliers and the resonant equalizer. Well, but before that, I would like to show you some pictures I have done from the research from the oscilloscope with the Barber pole phasor. And I was really interested to see and to hear what would happen if I would give a pulse, like the one you see here. The yellow sign is the input signal, and the blue one is the output. And you see that every time there is a transition within the yellow, between the upside of the yellow curve, so the Barber pole phasor creates an oscillation, a kind of resonance. And the more filters you use, the more filters, the COM filters you use, the more this resonance stays, and you create a tone. But really fascinating is when you use, like we've heard already before, the frequency shifter has a feedback source in the Barber pole phases. So here you see, for example, that applying a signal, yet now not like 9 hertz, but 27 hertz, you see that the resonant is following the signal, the yellow signal. So you will have still a base frequency of the original signal, but adding some new frequencies from the whole system, frequency shifter and Barber pole phaser. Now, I would directly go to the next examples. And, well, as I said, I worked with the Farman synthesis. It's a granular synthesis that may be used to simulate vocal sounds. And I use a nonlinear formula, a chaos formula, to generate the frequencies. So you will hear the result of this algorithm going on. And I'm showing you 2 examples. The first one without the Barber pole phaser, with one single line, and then with the Barber pole phaser, and then a little bit more complex polyphony of up to 3 voices with the Farman synthesis, and then with the Barber pole phaser. So I'm going to jump to the Barber pole phaser example. Well, now the example with up to 3 voices. I'm going to jump directly to the Barber pole phaser example. So I'm stopping here. It's 1.5 minutes. each example, so we will just go a little bit faster. So maybe you will notice that for me it was interesting to have a kind of continuity with a barber pole phaser applied to very different materials. So you have some pulsations and you have tones with different spectra, and I find that the barber pole phaser will give a continuum of a treatment that will kind of contribute to a fusion to both different and heterogeneous sounds. And in this sense, I continued to research a little bit with this particular module called the resonant equalizer, which is well, actually just an equalizer, but it has a particularity of having a special button for the feedback. So I was interested in moving one of these buttons with a frequency, moving from one side to the other, and then apply the barber pole phaser. And you will hear that the sounds are, well, this module actually is an equalizer, but it can't produce sound by itself through the feedback. So, but there is a moment where it changes completely the sound. Yeah? And this is what I was interested in this contrast, and using the barber pole phaser to kind of smooth this contrast. First, I will give you two examples directly with the barber pole phaser. So in this case, the barber pole phaser had the function of kind of domesticize these quite wild sounds that otherwise are difficult to control. Well, the next examples I'm going to show you are based also in a module that usually does not produce sound by itself, but if patched in a certain way, it may produce sound under certain circumstances. This is the wave multiplier. And you see there are here 3 similar wave multipliers, and they are connected in series. And when changing the control values of these buttons, like the fold buttons, I can achieve completely different sounds, from pulsating sounds to tonal sounds, and also very noisy sounds. So if you see, for example, here a sequence of 15 different sounds, and you can see from the graphics, right, from the sonogram, that you have very tonal sounds here, and pulsating sounds, and also very different shapes of noise, just produced by the same module without any kind of treatment. And of course, I wanted also the barber pole phaser to be the continuity between all these heterogeneous sounds. And this is what we are going to hear now. First we'll listen to the sequence without the barber pole phaser, and then with the barber pole phaser. Yes, and this is a kind of a sound world that I'm interested in exploring, and I had tried to make a little more elaborated improvisation based on this kind of sounds, but using now the barber pole phaser with different settings. So the settings are changing continuously during the improvisation, are turning on and off, and with different frequencies and different feedback values. So this is what I would like to show you now. A more elaborated improvisation. So I think that well, the barber pole phaser, as I said before, was used in this kind of very heterogeneous materials to kind of domesticate the sound, but also to give a kind of a second life to the sounds that are very stable. And I think this is very interesting because shaping the frequency spectrum is something that you cannot do with any kind of any other tools in a random order. So I think the barber pole phaser gives you a continuity between the continuous sound that we want to hear and some live that is going to be extracted from this from its own spectra. So this is the experiments I have been doing. This is a continuous work, and I hope to do some more work with this instrument. And yeah, thank you very much for your attention.
We have some time left for some questions from the audience before we head to the panel discussion, if there are any. Becca? I thought you.
I don't know.
Raised your hand.
Hi.
Hi.
That was great. What it came up, I think, in Felix's talk about what the tone color music. Would you characterize your experience? Is that do you think when you talk about whatever adding that extra layer electronically, do you think this instrument is somewhat addressing that?
Yes, yes, I think it's a very good description. I like to think about melodies of noise. Imagine. Usually we are very strict with some concepts of polyphony or written or melody, and then but if you think of a melody like a melody of different kinds of noise, then this coloring, the spectral coloring or timbral coloring, is a very good concept, I think. And yes, this is how to achieve the continuity in so heterogeneous materials. This was my main issue, and I think that these very slow movements of the Barber Pole phaser are really something that you can perceive immediately, and it helps to have this idea of continuity in discontinuity. Thank you.